Shalom, shalom. I want to say all praises be to Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakadash. The honest and apostles was upon them of great will still doing well. Shalom to the sincere brethren, occupying air across the 4 winds, 4 corners of the globe, pushing the truth, the good news on Yahweh Shai, proclaiming salvation to the elect of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and proclaiming the downfall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man and his wicked empire. So there's going to be another World War III update. Again, US and Iran talks, man. I guess ultimately all these talks, these nuclear talks, these different war talks, geopolitical talks between these different countries, especially between these chief countries that's going to be involved in World War III heavy, like Iran, Russia, China, is all going to come to naught. It's all going to be futile, man. You understand? It's all going to be futile because ultimately the Lord's will is to judge this place. The Lord's will is to judge this place, judge the earth, bring great judgment upon the earth, and that great judgment is going to come to what? Nuclear warfare. So all of these talks is ultimately just for a time, because there's going to come a time where there's going to be a war. It's going to be a real war, man. You understand? Which we in those times of the RFID chip, times of World War III. Now, whether it happens with this round of shit kick off with this round of war play or geopolitical positioning, that's up to the Lord. But we understand the RFID chip still have to be mandated. Famine of the word, which that's looking closer and closer with the famine of the word, how things going. But that's another topic. So on and so forth. So we understand things are getting closer, but the end is not yet. But we understand, these talks ultimately with Iran, US, Russia, China is ultimately all going to come to naught. The United Nations, all of that diplomacy, all of that is going to break down in these last days and times. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 48 verse 22. There is no peace, because what's talks about? What's these different nuclear talks, these nuclear treaties? You know what I mean? These different diplomacy missions, they are about what? Peace, trying to achieve peace, trying to not go to war, trying to sort things out without going to war. Guess what the Lord says? Isaiah chapter 48 verse 22. There is no peace, said the Lord, unto the wicked. So there's no peace on who's the wicked? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And the world is under that wicked vibration. So it ain't no peace coming to this world. It ain't no peace coming to Esau, Edom. So ultimately these talks, these diplomacy mission is going to become futile. Because what? The Lord said, this is the time, Joel 3 and 9, this is the time of war. Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. They say in the time of peace, this is the time of war. This is the time of judgment. This time of great destruction coming up on earth. This is the time of the fall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. This is the fall of Babylon the Great, which is America. And this is this whole happenings with Iran is one essential part that's gonna be to the fall of the American empire of Babylon the Great, the fall of the Israeli state also, man, because they in tandem with America, the Amalekites. They're the chief house of Esau, Edom, which they hate the Iranians, the Israeli. Benjamin Netanyahu and them guys. They hate the Iranians and the Persians. They hate the Persians, man. But that goes back to the history with Haman, you know what I mean, and the Persian Empire. But that's how history repeats itself. But nonetheless, these talks, they're having the talks in Oman, which if you don't know where Oman is, you can Google it. Is a country in the Arabian Peninsula by Saudi Arabia and Yemen. So they're having talks out there in Muscat, Oman, which Muscat is the capital of Oman. But ultimately, these talks are going to be futile at the end of the day. Whether they reach a little resolution now, they stave things off, they cool things down. Ultimately, the Lord's plan is to judge the earth, man. To judge the earth and the inhabitants thereof. And that main judgment is going to come through this World War III that must happen, which Iran is a chief player in kicking things off. Let's look at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, so that's why they're trying to push with this Iran and US talks. They're trying to have some type of peace. But guess what? A lot of war hawks saying, man, fuck them thoughts, man. Let's just bomb Iran. Let's go in. And you have hardliners on the Iranians saying, fuck that. Let's target the troops that the U.S. have in the Middle East. Let's target the state of Israel. Understand? But we ultimately know that the missiles ain't gonna fly tomorrow or next week. And the Lord is gonna have to work it out in a way where this is just a build up to the grand finale. Because the chips will have to be mandated. Like I said, martial law, the collapse, so on and so forth. So we understand this is ultimately a build up to the grand finale. So if they come to blows, that's just a build up. That's round 1, round 2, well round 2, round 3. Like you have a boxing match, you have different rounds. Till you have the final round basically, which is gonna be thermonuclear warfare, which is when Russia, China, North Korea, Pakistan, India, these different nuclear nations get involved in these different conflicts, like with Iran and Israel, or the South China Sea, or Ukraine. When these global superpowers are lock horns, man. But nonetheless, this is an integral piece. The Iranian-U.S. relationship, the Israel relationship with Iran. You know what I mean? The whole dynamic, man. Because the scripture said the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock being Amalekites, which has dominion over the state of Israel, who's occupying the state of Israel. They shall draw them out. Draw who out? America into the Third World War, specifically over there in the Middle East. Because like I said, I think it's America has 40,000 troops in different bases out there in the Middle East, man. And they can surge that, man, to hundreds of thousands, which they're going to have to do that in this ground battle that's going to happen over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of Yehoshaphat, in these last days and times. So this is just setting the stage, really and truly, for America to send them troops up in there for that ground battle of Armageddon, man. But nonetheless, this is an integral stage, man. Integral stage in the Lord's plan. And the Lord is speeding things up. Speeding things up, man. Because they actually came to blows, man. Iran and America and Israel came to blows 6-7 months ago. So the precedent is already set. And they can come to blows again, what is it, February? And the Lord just building up more and more for that grand finale. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So it ain't no peace and safety ultimately coming to this world, man. It ain't no peace and safety ultimately coming to America, man. And that's with everything, economically, politically, so on and so forth. It ain't no peace and safety. And the Lord is hastening these things in our time. Hey, I just checking the time, man. I probably have to do a video on that. Hey, before you know it, 2026 is over with, man. Lord's will, the Lord come back this year, but nonetheless, in terms of just time, shit is moving fast, man. It's like, damn, 2026 is just flying by, man. You understand? But that's the Lord. But that's our prophecy. Matthew the 24th chapter tells you what? The days shall be shortened. You know what I mean? The days of the status quo, the days of Esau, Edom being on top, the days of us being on the bottom, all of that's being shortened. As the Lord's pleasure is to what? Give us the kingdom. The scriptures tell you that. The Lord's pleasure is to give us the kingdom, man. And these things, man, these happenings, this whole Iran, Middle East situation, that's part of it, man. That's an integral part, which if you're watching and praying, like the scriptures tell you, you should be able to see. Yeah, things will happen, man. Though it tarry, wait for it, for it shall not tarry, man. Because when things happen, when shit go down, it's going to happen fast, man. But nonetheless, you have to understand, like, yo, okay, you still have to see the chip, man. You still have to see the family of the word. So even if things come to blows right now, you still have to understand, yeah, things might have to cool off for another round still, because the RFID chip ain't mandated. The missiles ain't going to fly tomorrow because RFID chip ain't mandated. Yeah, we still on the highways and byways. Society ain't collapsed. You know what I mean? So we still have to analyze these things, man, and still remain even keeled when pushing the word and with what we saying. Because we know the prophecies have to come in due order, man. The happenings of the word of the Lord, the prophecies has to come in due order. The Lord is not the author of confusion. So we know the chip, you know what I mean? Jacob's trouble, all of that has to come into full-fledged for the missiles to fly, man. But nonetheless, we building the stage is being set. The missiles is being prepped. You understand? The atmosphere is being prepped. The atmosphere of war, of distrust, of our war is being set. Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter. What time are we in? There's a time of peace. Well, no, we're in a time of war. There's a time of being born. There's a time of death, man. You understand? Which this world is going to enter into great destruction and judgment. Also, but great salvation. Great salvation to who? To who? The elect of the children of Yasha, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The elect of you. Hey, but nonetheless, this was another World War III update. Keep your eyes locked, your ears peeled to what's going on over there in Iran and the US, of which this is economically correlated too, because the play can be for Iran to close the Strait of Hormuz, man, which that's going to send the oil prices skyrocketing, which can cause an economic meltdown. So you see how the Lord could play it on that end too, man. Economic meltdown, recession, bringing in that chip, man, or bringing in more of the infrastructure for the RFID chip, man. So the Lord the Lord is the mastermind behind all of this. So you never know how the Lord gonna play it, but you have to have these different scenarios in your head to understand, like, yo, yeah, it could happen this way, it could happen that way, man. And that's where the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes in, where he's like, okay, well, that's the play. Okay, that's how the Lord playing it. You understand? Because we're not in ignorance. We have the insight. We have the cheat code to the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to understand what's going on and get a sense of the play that the Lord is running upon the earth. But nonetheless, hope you brothers and sisters were edified. When I say all praises be to Abanawa Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Harukakodash. The honor to the apostles was a quantum of great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the elect. Kwame Ashala, Abba Babal.